Live. That looked different than the picture. A bunch of stuff hanging back there. Those are all the passes that sometimes you get when you do uh, coverage of shows. There was so many UFC ones back there, but because of all the DAZN work, there's a lot of Bellator ones piling up on top. I am going to start by thanking you for watching my YouTube channel and apologizing that I haven't been around. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining me. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to sit and chat long form. It falls right in line with the way I like to think. We've been taught to think in bite-sized chunks. First, we were taught, those of us who work in television and news or sports or anything, we were taught to talk in bite-sized chunks, which taught our population to think in bite-sized chunks. And we do that. The great thing about podcasts, long form, is we can think, try different ideas, pontificate. This is where ideas are formed. So I love the YouTube setting, and I love being able to chat with you guys, get together with Mark, build podcasts. I apologize we haven't been doing it as much, but there's been a lot going on. There's been a lot going on. Some people are saying congratulations. It's very, very kind. I will tell you, in the post, I said that I was nominated for MMA Analyst of the Year, and that I'm very grateful, and that is 100% true. I am nominated for MMA. Also, if you want a Bink shirt, shoprobinblack.com. I am nominated for MMA Analyst of the Year, and I am fucking super grateful. So I just wanted to talk about that. I will be talking all this week from Las Vegas. That's where the award show is. Quickly, I will also do a YouTube live from the pre-party of the award show. So we'll find a bunch of the fighters and a bunch of people that were nominated and coaches and TV people and stuff, and we will talk to them live on my YouTube channel on Wednesday from Las Vegas, from the Fighters Only World MMA Awards. That way you can see what it's like. These things are super fun. They are really cool. Lots of congrats. Thank you again. I want to talk a little bit about that. Also from Vegas this week, I will talk about Jones versus Thiago Santos and Holly Holm versus Amanda Nunes. We will do that live on the YouTube channel. So very quickly, one more thought about the YouTube channel. Thank you for subscribing and following. Is Mark and I are relaunching this YouTube channel the week after I get back from Las Vegas. That room over there is being repainted and designed and lit, and we were going to do 2 or more broadcasts every week. Again, apologies, I haven't been around. Things happen very quickly in the way things are today. I just wanted to tell you about the award show. I wanted to let you know that we'll be analyzing Jones versus Santos and Holm versus Amanda Nunes and so forth next week from this YouTube channel, and that I will be bringing you guys live to the pre-party before the award show. Now, quickly, I want to just tell you what's been going on. The reason I haven't been around YouTube a lot is when you're kind of doing your own deal. More on that in a second. If you followed me 2 years ago, I had a 24-hour combat sports channel television job that went away. Coincidentally, that's the last time I was nominated for Analyst of the Year. I'll try to make this all make sense in a second. But then you start to work for yourself. You have a YouTube channel and Instagram and Twitter, and I built 1-minute breakdowns. And then I got jobs for TSN and World Letway Championships. Maybe I'll tell you about that too. Bare knuckle boxing, TKO, all these commentary jobs, and you tie it all together and you try to make it all fit. And it's super fun. And the better you do, the busier you are. So as a result, I have 100,000 followers on Instagram. It's easier to go and just keep putting out 1-minute videos, 1-minute breakdowns there. So all of a sudden, you let your YouTube channel fall behind. Again, last time I'll do it. I don't want to be a broken record, but I apologize that I haven't been around. We're changing that next week. So World MMA Awards. In typical Robin Black fashion, that took me 4 minutes to get there, even though that's what we're talking about. Thank you, guys. World MMA Awards. So this has been going on, I think, for sure 10 years. They have, if you do not follow them, I will tell you, they have categories, Fighter of the Year, Fight of the Year, Journalist of the Year. Ariel always wins, and he deserves it. MMA Awards 2019. I'll tell you about it. So 2 years ago, I worked at a place called Fight Network. It's like the Food Network, but fighting. 24-hour combat sports channel. a really good idea and an even better idea today than it was when it started, because people are so interested in the thing that they love, they want to spend all their time there if it's good. And we were doing great work there, and we were ahead of our time. Our YouTube channel had 120, 130,000 subscribers, 50, 60, 70,000 people watched our stuff. It was really, really far ahead of its time. And I started doing breakdowns. I did hundreds of them, hundreds of my long form ones that will be coming back. I'm looking at doing some with DAZN right now, who I love working with. DAZN is awesome. Very, very cool people. And then, so we did very well. And I was nominated for 2017, I guess, MMA Analyst of the Year, which was super exciting. We went to the awards show. I'll tell you a little bit about it. And like I said, I'll shoot my YouTube live from the pre-party, so you can meet a bunch of people there and see what it's like. And it was amazing. I didn't appreciate it as much then as I should have and as I do now. But there was, you're hanging out with all, Bisping's over here and hanging out with Anik over there. And there's all these famous fighters you look up to. And I Skyped with Uriah Faber and Mike Brown, who my wife, the very first fight she ever watched with me was Mike Brown versus Uriah Faber, when Uriah broke both his hands in a 25-minute fight that Mike won. So I Skyped with them. It was very, very cool. And then I also was asked to present an award. So I wore a very expensive suit, and then I presented an award to the leading man of the year, which was Dana White, which was super cool. Give Dana White an award. The whole thing's awesome. Then we have an amazing time, and we were covering, I forget what fight card it was, but we were there with our friends, and we were good friends. And so we set up Bobby T, who actually works at DAZN now, and I get to work with him often. And it's amazing. He's a good friend, and I love traveling with Bobby T. Thanks for being such an inspiration. You said fighting is about fighting. We're white belts now, and we'll be black belts soon. Wow. Yeah, it's neat to look back at. It's one of the beautiful things about documenting things, is you can look back and see where you had the right idea and where you were wrong and where things shifted and everything. So the last day we ever worked together at Fight Network, Bobby T, John Pollock, Wei Ting, who's a good friend to all of them to this day, and John Ramdeen, who is one of my closest friends ever. We all went to Vince Neil's restaurant at Circus Circus. My phone is doing stupid shit. Please excuse me. And Vince Neil was the singer of Motley Crue. I'm not wearing a Motley Crue shirt, but if you want one of these, you can get one. I wear a lot of Motley Crue shirts. I have a lot. It's just strange that I do. But Vince Neil and Motley Crue was Ramdeen, myself, and Bobby in particular are big fans of old cheesy 80s hair metal. And Bobby's favorite band ever is Motley Crue. And there we are in Vince's restaurant, and we're having a few drinks while we're doing it, and we're eating, and we just have this amazing time. It was the last thing we ever shot. I went on vacation, and then the other guys went back. The long and the short of it is, on the next day, we find out that they've canceled our entire department. They just weren't making digital content anymore. Now, I don't want to sit around judging, but here we are 2 years later, and companies are spending 10 times what they spent to try to create what we already had. It was a case of not realizing the value of something you'd already built and how rare it was and how impossible to rebuild it would be. But that's them. It took me a while to actually release that. That's you take things like that very personal, even though they're not personal. People are trying to make zeros and ones work. You have bad, behind the times executives not understanding what they're seeing when things change, and people are doing the best they can. So the next day I had no job at all. That was my very full-time job. And I had also been doing breakdowns for the UFC and some commentary for their digital. And when they were sold to WME IMG, that disappeared because that whole department disappeared. And so in 4 months, I suddenly had nothing. And it was fucking scary. It's so wild now to finally, 2 years later, I am now nominated for the exact same award with 2 years of really hard work, but it's not hard work if you love it. And that's why there's a lot of people around in the world right now urging other people, saying, look, you're going to have to work really fucking hard no matter what you decide to do. So it'll be easier to work hard if it's something you love. Technical proficiency creates true power, a power that won't exhaust, rather than forcing Fast Furious into gassing. Sorry, I lost your thing. With heavy load up and stiffness. So you guys are talking about a fight over here. There's stuff I'm off on another tangent. But people will tell you, make sure you do something you love. Sounds like just a real nice fucking encouraging thing to say, but also fucking makes sense. You're gonna have to work so hard. If you're doing something you hate, you will figure out how to cut corners. You'll figure out how to like get away with less work. You'll figure out how to make it look like you're working when you're not, and that ain't gonna fly. You're just gonna have to work really hard. That's the life, the world we're living in. So fucking go do it in something you're super stoked to do. That's what I do. But I had no job. Um, and I didn't know how. I didn't have a YouTube channel, and I didn't. My Instagram had 3,000 followers, and now it's 100,000. I didn't know how to edit. I didn't know how to do any of those things. I just fucking one day I was nominated for Analyst of the Year and had like made a lot of money doing cool stuff, growing a thing that everybody said, "Wow, you guys are doing amazing work." And the next day, a bunch of people who didn't quite understand what they were looking at said, "Oh, we should cut this." Sidebar, this is not a direct judgment on where I worked, but any company in the world right now, if you are involved in a high level in a company, the move is cut your executives. And I mean that. Keep the creators because the executives fall behind and their skills deteriorate and they do damage to you and they cost a lot of money. And if they're going to try to figure out how to keep themselves, to do that, they'll cut your valuable shit. Anyways, that's big picture, big picture stuff on any company you're working for. You, and if you are a creator, the good news is, bad news for the companies like that who cut that kind of thing, they won't be able to recreate it because we can all do it without them now. So if you decide that you're a fucking coffee expert, you can create a world around being a coffee expert today. You don't need Coffee Channel or Coffee TV or whatever. So all of their resources become valueless to you. And you don't need them. So they either would have to pay you a great deal to attract what you could attract, or they just have to not exist. I saw something very interesting. So back to the MMA Awards in a second, but I saw something very interesting I thought I would share with you. This would be a good moment. Is when companies or people or ideas or technologies hit a wall and cease forward movement and hit some type of turbulence or quicksand or problems, they usually do one of two things. They do more of the thing they're doing, or they do less of the thing they're doing. What they rarely do is do different things, right? So I will tell you, it's a good, very good questions. What other analysts have, it is a fucking dream category to be part of. I'll tell you in a second. But so when you or your company or people you work for or a technology that's changing, whatever, when it hits a plateau or a wall or some form of turbulence where it can stop moving and it hits resistance, they usually do one of two things: way more of what they're doing or way less of what they're doing. In our case, where I used to work, they just cut it. What they rarely do is different things. And different things is going to be the answer. Different things is going to be the answer. So that was my answer. Suddenly I had no job. I was fortunate enough that I got another bigger TV job in Canada. So that was wonderful for me. But it was also not going to be a full-time job. Um, so I had to do different things. I had to learn how to make 1-minute breakdowns, which I didn't know how to do. I knew how to break down fighting, but I didn't know how to edit and analyze and freeze and zoom and music and post and all this shit. I just had to learn it. So different things. But and here we are anyways, 2 years later, got 100,000 Instagram followers, 250 million people have viewed my 1-minute breakdowns 250 million times. And I'm the weird outlier in this award show. So thank you for your patience. Somebody asked me who else is nominated. So let me tell you quickly, the Fighters Only World MMA Awards, I believe it will be streaming live on ESPN Plus on Wednesday. It's at the Palms. Excuse me, it's warm in my place. It's at the Palms in Las Vegas. The 2019 World MMA Awards. So here are some of the categories. Fighter of the Year. Let's look at a few of them and say what we think. Khabib Nurmagomedov, Gegard Mousasi, Dustin Poirier, Daniel Cormier, Ang Lang Sung. Ang Lang Sung is the 1-2 division champion, a wonderful man. I'm going to commentate Letway or Ledway. Lewe is how they pronounce it there. West foreigners call it Letway, but Lewe is how they pronounce it. So that's how I'm going to try to do it. And in Myanmar, Ang Lang Sung is from Myanmar. He is a 1 championship, 2 division world champion. The only world champion ever from that country in any sport. So that's wonderful. Cormier, of course, 2-division champion. Gegard, Dustin, or Khabib. So you guys, the vote, by the way, voting is now closed. So at the time I'm up saying this is so wonderful, even if you wanted to vote for me and we were so kind, it's too late. But anyways, who is one of these? I don't know. I'm not very good at judgments anymore. I'm good at looking at what is. Comparisons like this, it's just an argument, right? Female Fighter of the Year, Valentina Shevchenko, Tatiana Suarez, Jessica Andrade, Elimele McFarlane, Bellator champion, and Amanda Nunes. Anyways, Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, Fight of the Year, Comeback of the Year. Then you get down to ring card girl of the year, leading man. That's like sort of leaders, Dana White, the head of one of the heads of KSW, Martin Lewandowski, Chatri, who runs One Championship, is a wonderful man, inspiring man. Scott Coker, best promotion, etc. Personality of the year, Joe Rogan, and will win that. Then you get to Analyst of the Year, and it's like, holy fuck, look at this. Now, some people watch my YouTube channel and go, man, that guy goes on, he doesn't say anything. Other people are among the 250 million views of my 1-minute breakdowns. There are 700 of them. And in 1 minute, I say a lot. So I go to extremes. So, and hey, lots of people will disagree. But here they are, Analyst of the Year. Robin Black. They put me right at the top. That's just because my name starts with a B. But it's very nice. It's a fucking compliment, for real. Robin, will you wear a tux? I'll tell you about my suit in a second. Michael Bisping, MMA Analyst of the Year nominee, Michael Bisping. Paul Felder, Daniel Cormier, Dominic Cruz. Can you see that? Robin Black. It's backwards. Robin Black, Michael Bisping, Paul Felder, Daniel Cormier, Dominic Cruz. Michael Bisping, Daniel Cormier, and Dominic Cruz. Between them, they have 4 UFC titles. Cormier has 2 of them right now. And Bisping was the middleweight champion, Cruz the bantamweight champion. Cormier has 2 of them right now. And between them, probably like 8 or 10 world championships. It's between you and Cruz. You should get the W, though. I'll tell you how it works. Chances are I will not be winning this, but it's still very cool. So, yeah, there's 4 UFC titles between those 3 guys, 2 of them currently. And between those 4 guys, including smaller promotions that Paul fought in, and then Bisping in England and stuff, there's probably 10 world titles. Dom was a WEC champ, Daniel Cormier, Strikeforce, 4 UFC titles. That's fucking cool. Also, what do all 4 of them have in common? All 4 of them commentate the UFC. All 4 of them sit at a UFC desk. All 4 of them are part of big broadcasts. I'm a fucking punk rock dude sitting in my kitchen. You know what I mean? That's fucking cool. That, to me, is what's so cool about it. That's what's so cool about it. Those 4 guys work for the biggest broadcast ever in, the sport of fighting. I don't quite think... I think some of the limitations that we face right now is by forcing it into the category of sport, only sport, and trying to present it as a sport. Less people watch football maybe than they did before. If they don't, they will in a year. You can feel it. If you're one of these people who feels change, sport is not kind of all that cool right now. And sport is one of the 10 wonderful things it is: art and metaphor and performance and all these other things, and self-improvement and all of these things. Sport is a very small piece of it. But anyways, those 4 work for the biggest sport presenter of fighting ever. And it says hockey and MMA are trending up. MMA is not trending up. It is not really. That's cool. You're the man. Fighters respected worldwide. Thank you, man. Basketball is trending up, but basketball is being presented as an entertainment as much as, everything else, and celebrity and a lot of other things. Fighting currently, especially, large broadcast fighting, is kind of like being forced into this sport category. It's Dan or Dom. Robin's great, but maybe too esoteric from us. Fuck esoteric. Why am I in with this group of these guys? Because I ain't like them. I don't even work for that. Esoteric is fucking gold for me. I just and listen. to win something, to be grouped in with something like that when you're sitting in your kitchen talking to people and making breakdowns on your fucking iPad that 250 get consumed 250 million times, that Joe Rogan shares, and and people talk about in broadcasts, and other analysts and coaches and people stop me on the street to talk to me about. That's fucking mind blowing for me. That's absolutely mind blowing. I'm just a regular dude living in Toronto. You know what I mean? But let me tell you this. There are 600 people imitating those four who are imitating Joe Rogan, right? Those other 600 aren't there. The reason I get a chance to sit there and be consumed and have somebody notice what I do and in any way somehow connect to people is because I'm not like them. And I'm not saying that's on purpose. If anything, I'm saying I can't be like them. It's inauthentic for me to be like them. It's inauthentic. It's inauthentic to some degree for them to be like this too. They're the best at imitating what they think a broadcaster should do, but this is still what people do. And let me give you the typical example. Walk up to somebody on the street and say, how do you think the Winnipeg Jets are going to do against the Avalanche? And you hold the mic up and go, well, you got to take a lot of opportunities, put the puck on the net. And, when you get a chance in the other team's barn, you got to come together as a team. And I think if they do, good things will happen. What the fuck is going on? Why on earth is that guy talking that way? Because that's how he's seen broadcasters talk. And somehow, subconsciously, he thinks that's how you have to talk. Nobody has to talk like anything. You ever see, and just humor me. You ever see Cops, the TV show Cops, or Live PD, or your friends that are cops, and they say, what happened? Well, the perp, was we're traveling at a high rate of speed, and when he turned into the thing, we deployed the spike strips. The fuck is he? Why is he talking that way? Because other cops talk that way, and then their bosses talk that way, and it becomes a language. Imitation. All of it is imitation, learned imitation. Paul Felder does not speak the way Paul Felder speaks there. Dan and Dom, I think, are the two best, and Paul and Mike will eventually do it. And you see them start, especially Mike already. Mike, if you're going to have, as you watch this brilliant champion and wonderful human being, if he were to ask, and he and I are friends, who say, hey, Robin, can you give me a critique on, you've done 700 commentary jobs. Could you give me a critique? I'd be like, you sound too much like a broadcaster and not enough like Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping, smart, funny, interesting, compelling, clever. Broadcasters are fucking dumbass, boring people who say dumbass, boring broadcaster shit. That would be my feedback. That is the only reason I'm sitting here to being grateful that I'm in here, is because of the 600 people in the world currently imitating what they think broadcasters are supposed to sound like. These are the four fucking badasses. And then there's 5 of us who are like, why the fuck would anybody speak exactly like broadcasters who came before them? And I'm the one that snuck his way in here. I can tricked everybody into saying I can go there too. And what am I saying? I'm not trying to criticize anybody. I'm not trying to criticize the system. What I am trying to do is say you don't have to. And not only you don't have to, don't do what you think you're supposed to be doing. Somebody kindly said you're a trendsetter. That's not, I don't want to set trends either. Although if you do something interesting, some will imitate, because what are we talking about? Humans imitate stuff, right? Animals imitate stuff. Primates imitate stuff. If you look there, like a chimp will stick the stick down into the ant hole and then eat all the ants off. One chimp did that. One chimp. No chimps did it. And then one day a chimp did it. And now chimps do that, right? We're chimps. We're chimps. Don't intentionally not do what the thing is, but also ask yourself, why am I saying, Robin, what does he need to do to get out of this thing? Can he get out if he dishes out some ground and pound? Absolutely. If he can take those opportunities to get that underhook, get the ground beneath him, then he can get back to his feet. Once he separates, he can use long-range weaponry, try to land some shots, and then recover in the break. I mean, that's not true. You don't have, this is what I'm getting at. And not to talk about this job, although this is my doorway to this conversation. That's all this is at any time when you look at anything, there are hundreds of thousands of things happening, okay? So if you look at a plant grow, there are thousands of things. There is what is happening with their use of carbon dioxide. There's what's happening in the plant. There's the experience. There's the history of this plant. There's what it is, what's different about it, et cetera, et cetera. Somebody said Robin versus the MMA holes in some kind of match. Here's something I want to tell you. Chael and Luke and other people like having a thing. I, I, I don't understand it. If that in any way elevates them both, and it's sort of and in Chael's case, and I talk to Chael sometimes, like on a fairly regular, lately it's been every few days, which I'm very thankful for. In Chael's case, Chael understands that conflict, he has understood this for the last 10 years of his fighting career. Conflict elevates everything. Conflict gets people talking. Conflict gets things being retweeted and shared. And so if he's doing that with anyone, maybe he'll do it with me at some point because he likes me. So if he did, it would be out of kindness because he would think it would help me. Somebody said it's a fun little thing. I'm going to avoid that nonsense at all costs. That's just not what I am. Maybe I once was that. And maybe I will be again because we all change. We're all different all the time. But what I'm going to try to avoid doing is getting tangled up in bullshit. The biggest thing for me is that we have no right to judge or criticize these performances of these fighters. I'm telling you, like, we do not have that right. Now, you can as a fan. I paid my dollars and I think that guy sucks, by all means. But when you try to position yourself into a position of authority, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to position myself into a position of deep curiosity. What is this? What's happening? How is it happening? How do I know? Can I constantly know that I don't know anything? And that if I think whatever I think I know now, that if I continue to study, that in 5 years, this will be almost nothing. That has worked great for me. What I believed I knew 3 or 4 years ago now seems somewhat limited and ridiculous to me. That is because I consistently think, God, there's so much more that must be known. There's so much unknown. There's so much we don't know. So when you look at something, you say, this guy's doing this because of this, and he doesn't do that. It's such bullshit because when you watch something, so, and this is, when you watch a fight, especially when you think you know what it is, and you've never done it, what you don't understand is that I'm making up numbers to illustrate, I guess, 2% to 8% of what is happening is available by watching. Okay. And I mean that because almost everything that's happening there is happening in the experience. So if I criticize, I can't believe that guy made that dumb choice and that guy screwed up and now look at his bad performance. You don't look at a seed. That guy sucks. That guy's not good. What did this guy do wrong and what could he do better? All of that is judgment on my part. All of that is judgment. And all of that is me projecting meaning on something that I almost have no real information about. I watch a guy kick and it lands on a thing and then a guy moves. If I say he tried to do this and then he did that and he was like, all of that is projection. Somebody says, and here he's going for the single leg and now going for the double leg. All of that is projection. If I grab your leg and you say he's trying he's going for the single leg, what you're now saying is you're applying intent. There's 1,000 reasons I can grab your leg. And one of those thousands is I want to use a single leg takedown. Thousands. And what I might have wanted to do will now change based on what you do. All of that. There are thousands of exchanges that take place from the time I try to grab your leg to whatever happens. If we then say he tried the single leg and great takedown defense, he failed, I was never trying a single leg. I was never attempting the high crotch takedown. I was never. These are narratives, right? I'm creating a narrative based on what I'm imagining. Everything happening within the fight takes place within the experience and the dynamic between the two. Somebody says, "Why doesn't he throw?" This is always a funny one. Somebody's like, "I don't understand why he's not using jabs." Of course you don't, because you have almost no information, right? I don't understand why this guy doesn't use his elbows from the top. He's on top in half guard. Why isn't he? I don't understand why he's not. Of course you don't understand. You're missing almost all the information. You don't know what it feels like. You don't know what's going on in the body. You don't know what's happening in the mind. You don't know the dynamic between the two. You don't know about hesitation. You don't know about the injury they do or don't have. You don't know any of it. And so when you say, or worse, so that's one. Worse is then, this guy's doing the wrong thing. He did the wrong thing. What could he do different? He could do nothing different. He could do nothing different. Under the circumstances in those moments, all of us, and not just a fight, this is what we're learning. This is what we're learning about life. At all moments, we are doing the very best we can. It's not like, well, you know, why isn't he do? Because he can't. Why can't he? It's right there. Because his brain won't let him. His brain won't let him. Why are you? And people criticize you should have worked harder. I couldn't. This was literally the hardest I could work. Why didn't I work harder? Well, that's dependent on the things that happened in the days and weeks leading into it. I didn't work harder because I was scared. I didn't work harder because of something that I learned. I didn't work harder because I have to improve my sleep. I didn't work. You worked as hard as you fucking could. At all times, all of us are doing the very best we can. And when we remove judgment from it, and at all times, now we got it, free will is an illusion. That's not necessarily true. But I like where you're thinking. We are doing what we can do right now based on all of the learning, preparation, and building and knowledge and everything that's led up to it. That's the best we can. When you look at somebody and say he should have thrown more punches, he couldn't throw more punches. This was what he could do tonight in this moment. That's what a fight is. That's what a fight is. A fight isn't, and then you'll look at people will question people's decisions. I saw this 27 ways from fans to other fighters even who know this personally. Aaron Pico after this should have taken a guy down. How can we not understand that this same scenario could happen 30 times and 28 of them he now knocked the guy unconscious, and then we start yelling, Aaron Pico's got a crazy killer instinct. But because that one time the guy landed one punch, and instead we say Aaron Pico doesn't understand, Aaron Pico makes bad choices. These are moments, right? And so because I can't criticize Aaron Pico sucks. What could Aaron Pico do different? And I know that there are people out there who have never fought, who literally are like, how to defeat John Jones. Are you out of your fucking mind? Here's my breakdown or analysis on how to defeat John Jones. Are you out of your fucking mind? Or what Greg Jackson should do different. Are you fucking crazy? Like but you're not crazy and you're not out of your mind. You're literally doing the best you can. So if if Chael did a thing or Luke did a thing or somebody else did a thing, part of me will be like, are you out of your mind? You can't. What you're saying with authority is based on missing 96% of the information. And now you're saying something with authority, which you must defend with authority. And now you still have almost none of the information. And like, part of me is like, but then on the other part, it's like, people are just doing the best they can. They think that's all the information. Like, this is a really fascinating one for me. Let me preface this by saying Dan Hardy is a wonderful man, a genius, a brilliant analyst, a brilliant fighter, a fantastic martial artist. That's why I'm using this example. Dan Hardy will tell you, if I sat with him or we all had the good fortune to sit together with this brilliant fighter, telling you about his brilliant fight, say with George or, you know, any of these fights, Condit, any of these, and we picked 15 moments. One was boom, and his hair flies and sweat flies out. And another one is like, 15 or 20 different shots. And I'd say, that's the one that hurt the most. That one where your head, and he's like, no, Rob. And again, I'm just creating a scenario that's possible. He might say, no, Robin, the weird one was this, just a little one, just getting tight. You don't even see my notice. You don't even see like that, but it's like it stung me. It hurt me neurologically. I was confused. It was that little one. So what about this huge kick to the ribs? No, I didn't really feel that one. He can tell you that although our eyes will perceive something and we will make a decision, oh man, he's hurt. He's hurt. He'd be like, I wasn't hurt. Or we wouldn't even see that little shot, and he'd say, man, that was the hardest shot of the fight. This is what he could tell you from his own personal experience, is that our eyes lie to us constantly when we watch fights, even to the greats who have done it 50 times. Our lying eyes are missing most of the information. So we can't speak from a point of authority. This means this, and this happened like this, and sometimes you'll have to, because we're going from having producers tell us, be authoritative, have an opinion, to the time later, years from now, where it'll be about curiosity. We're in that middle part. But so Dan and I, after he could tell you that from his own experience as a brilliant martial artist, he and I watched rounds 3 and 4 of Condit versus Lawler, and he goes, nah, Lawler won that round. He did more damage. And again, this is a brilliant man who's not only dedicated his life to martial arts, but watching martial arts with a critical eye. And yet he can't connect it to his own experience because he's playing analyst or commentator role. He can't connect it to his own experience, personal experience, which would be like, wait a second, those ones that I'm judging to be big and powerful and the most damage and, harder shots and all that, my own personal experience says to me, hey, wait a second, I can't tell that from watching. And he and I discussed that, and then he was like, yeah, no, you hit him with the harder shots. And I brought it up maybe once in chatting with him. He's a very busy man, a wonderful man, and just a brilliant, I admire him greatly. But I want to have that conversation again, because like your first person experience as a fighter says you cannot say that's the better shot, because you know it from being on the end of the shot. You know it from being on the end of these. That's the one that hurt. It's the one that didn't look like it hurt. That big spinning kick to my head where I was okay, right? So if that can happen to geniuses like Dan, what the fuck is going on with somebody who's never performed under pressure or been kicked in the face? You don't know, right? You don't know. So what's happening in the world is, even the commentators at the highest level, they are being led by producers who produce football and baseball to do it as a sport, to create a narrative. And here's the downside. Inherently, that narrative is so limited, it creates lies that we believe to be true, right? So when we watch something, we think something, and then we see this in people's things like, hey, wait a second, does that mean that guy has a ton of power, or that guy has a bad chin? both of those aren't real things in the way they've been presented to you. Chin was a nickname for somebody's ability to use a combination of skills over time of where he was and how he moved and how strong he was, the strength of his neck, his endurance, how well he took a shot late. It's 100 things. It was a nickname. It was a lazy TV term. But over time, we think that's a category. Same thing. That guy's got crazy knockout power. No, no. That's just something we said with a shortage of time to talk about somebody's ability to place his feet and walk somebody into danger and hit somebody from a bad angle and generate force from his hips and feet and ground and legs and torso and back and flow and be relaxed and all of these things. Nobody has power. Power is not something you have. Power is something you create with efficiency and technique and the biomechanics and timing and positioning and trickery. That's, so now we create these lies that have been created and we run out of things to say. This was good when we only had 8 shows a year, or this was good when you watch one baseball game, every 2 months. That was good enough. Now it becomes a formula, a repeated formula, and we start to lose interest. We turn the TV down. We stop listening to it. We watch only the big fights because that narrative here, let's take the open shot of the city and the one, there's the Statue of Liberty or there's Christ the Redeemer and whatever the big shot of the big city is. And then we say, this city hosted the Olympics tonight in our main event, title implications, but all of that, it's all such a formula. Now to the tail of the tape. Tail of the tape, someone made that up. Someone once, they used to say, and let's take a look at the stats. Or they'd say, let's compare some of the measurements of these boxers. Somebody once said, and we take a look at the tail of the tape. That wasn't supposed to be forever. That was a really creative term. It wasn't like now it's tail of the tape forever. It was fucking someone came up with that. Someone came up with, and the winner gets a title shot. We weren't supposed to just say these things over and over forever and just reinsert different fighters wearing the same outfits. And then we commoditize it all. Fighting is wonderful. It's beautiful. It's special. It's unique. It's inspiring. It's confusing. It's revealing. It's vulgar. It's elegant. It's all of these things. It's not a sport plugging in interchangeable characters that we can fly them out on short Twitter clips that less and less people are watching and then recreate it in next week in Cleveland. And that's limiting, right? That's limiting. And that's been the wonderful thing about these 2 years. Here I am 2 years later. I'm the outlier. I ain't going to win. I'm not going to win with Cormier, Cruz, and Mike in there, and Paul Felder. I'm not going to win with those guys there. But I'm the little weird outlier. I get to sit and do it my way. I'm not trapped by those structures where I can only see it that way. You call it esoteric sometimes. Some people say, in rambles, he's esoteric. That's cool. That's totally cool. It's different. There is a whole world of thousands of perspectives on everything. On a phone, on a pen. This is an orange pen. It's a ballpoint pen. It's got this. It's got a silver tip. It has ink. What's the history of the pen? Where did it come from? What are these materials? Why is it orange? Where did the word orange come from? From the fruit to the cup? Fuck, there's a million things you can talk about with anything. It isn't just striker versus grappler going for the takedown. Now he's down. Let's dish out some ground and pound. That's just a ritualistic formula that we get trapped in. Right? It's way more interesting than that. And then when you don't succumb to that prison of a formula, people think you're weird. It's fucking weird to be in a prison. It's weird to be trapped in a prison where you can only talk the way that the people who came before you talked. That shit's been mined. There's nothing else to reveal there. And if all we're going to do, I've commentated almost 600 shows now. Pretty excited I'm getting to commentate Lethwei in Myanmar. Elbows, punches, knees, kicks, and headbutts. That'll change the way I see fights. I've commentated sumo, wushu, sanda, taekwondo, karate, savat, grappling, wrestling, judo. I've commentated fencing, everything. I've commentated them all. And I commentate them from a different perspective because it's wide open. It's insane to just say the same things. And it's even more insane for you to watch somebody say the same things and be cool with that. And then when somebody says something different, to actually think that's weird. No, it's weird to be in a prison of thought. That's fucking weird. It's weird. You don't have to say, yeah, the Winnipeg Jets are going to give 110%. You don't have to say, yeah, the Purpura took off at a high rate of speed. And you don't have to say dishing out ground and pound. These are fucking like, you shouldn't have your thoughts shaped by how people speak. So fortunately, I haven't. And I'm on this list with these fucking geniuses. And that's really cool. So I'm not going to win that. And that's a separate conversation. But we live in a world now where you can measure these metrics. Daniel Cormier has 3 million followers. Why does Daniel Cormier have 3 million followers? Because he's interesting, he's a champion, he's smart, he's funny, he's inspiring. So 3 million people are like, that's my guy right there. If he even mentions it and 1% of those people say, Dan's the analyst of the year, then you can't win, right? That's math. It's just factual. I'm not mad at that. In fact, I appreciate that. The fact that that's the case and you can measure how much people engage with people and care about them, you figure out how to make that. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's going to have an effect on your life. So accept the fact and figure out how that's okay. So my 100,000 Instagram followers won't win me Analyst of the Year, but it will get me a really great job commentating somewhere, because when my clips go up on UFC Fight Pass and then they tweet it out and do stuff, people respond because they like my shit. So that same thing that I can measure and say I will not win this award still gives me great value in my life. So I can't be mad at it. How can I be mad at it? All the fucking travel I get to do now. A part of it is because there's an audience that cares about my shit. There's an audience that likes my ideas. It's an audience that supports me and encourages me. Those 250 million fucking views of my 1 minute breakdowns didn't view themselves. Humans did that. People did that. People cared. People, I tried my best to bring value that they would enjoy. And they did. And now they say, when my stuff goes up, they say, we like this. And as a result, I get to travel around and sit next to a ring or a cage and commentate. And I get to be on a list with these fucking geniuses. These guys fucking are working on ESPN all the time on UFC broadcasts. I'm the fucking weirdo punk rock outlier. And there's something so good about that. Not going to win with that, but to be invited into the club and do it totally your way. And there, I should thank some people because, as I said, I'm not even going to write a fucking thank you thing when those guys have between them, the top three, they have like 5 million followers, right? Those people who love them. They're going to fucking click a thing. They're going to win. This is humans. Real people will decide, which would also make it all the more incredible for whoever wins. Probably Dom would be my thing because he is popular, yes, but he's also very brilliant and he's a little different because there's only so different you can be in that environment, and he's the right amount of different for that environment. And you can tell because some people don't like him, and that's a really good sign. If everybody likes you, if everybody tolerates you, you're doing something wrong. But yes, I should thank those guys. I should thank all the people who put me on that list. I should thank my wife because she's like fucking so supportive of all this stuff. And I should thank Chael and Anik and a bunch of other people that are really super supportive of me, especially Joe Rogan. So I'm going to Vegas on Tuesday. I got a nice black suit with a blue floral shirt, and I'm going to go to that pre-party. There's 2 or 3 of them kind of in the afternoon, and I'm going to go live on my YouTube channel right here. So you guys can, and I'll chat with a few of these people. Did I thank Chael? Yeah. I should. And did I thank Joe Rogan? I should. That guy's done more for me than anyone. And then my wife literally was like, 2 fucking years ago, I had no job. And now I commentate for TKO, CES, BKB, World Lightweight Championships. I cover Bellator for DAZN. I cover the UFC for TSN. I work for RT Sport, talking about interviewing people about fighting fucking Russia. I've worked for Korea, Monster Zim in Korea, and fuck, I can't even list it all. It's been fucking amazing. And you know, it's intimidating for your family. My wife was like super encouraging. Go do it. I believe in you. And fucking Joe Rogan, thank you. But yes, on Wednesday, I'm going to go. Tuesday, I'm going to have fun. Oh, let me tell you really quickly. This is a drag. Yeah, KSW. I did some work with KSW as well. Yep. This is a drag. So Adam, he's MMA roasted. He's hilarious and he's brilliant. He was like, "Hey, I got this idea." So the host of the awards is Dolph Lundgren, right? Um, and thank you, by the way. The host of the awards is Dolph Lundgren, and Dolph Lundgren, Adam, MMA roasted. He's a comedian. He's a brilliant cat. He has this idea. He's like, you should do a thing. What if? And we start shooting the shit together. What if Dolph comes out and he says, you know, I've always connected to fighters, and I was a fighter myself. There's one fight I just wish I could have back. But back then we didn't have the internet, we didn't have analysis. If only there was a way I could break it down and figure out what I could have done different. And then I walk out. I'm Robin Black, and this is the breakdown. Dolph, let's look at your fight with Sylvester Stallone from Rocky IV. And then I was already breaking it down, how we were gonna analyze it, what was happening. And they loved it. Dave Farah and Adam, and we were putting it all together. And then just so I was super stoked to do that on the thing. It's fucking Joe Rogan thinks very highly of you. He's how I found out about you. The name dropped in a podcast. Wow, that's so cool. Fuck, I gotta thank that guy. He's doing a show on Friday. I'm planning to come back Thursday, but if maybe I'll send him a message. I'd love to see his show again. And he's a good man. But yes, so they submitted the thing, and the lawyers, because it's streaming on ESPN Plus, the lawyer said we can't use the Rocky footage, so the breakdown's off. So hopefully I present an award or something like that. But then Wednesday afternoon, we'll go to the pre-party. I'll take my thing and we'll do a live here on YouTube, and I'll do a live Instagram at Robin Black MMA, and even Twitter at Robin Black MMA on Twitter. And we'll do some live stuff from there. So I can invite you guys to it. I'm just going to have fun and be thankful. And I'm also going to make sure that I remember 2 years is a long time. And it's not hard work if it's what you love, and it is what I love. This is what I love to do. I am not a somebody who works in TV or entertainment who's been asked to analyze martial arts. I analyze martial arts. That's what I do with my life. And there's two things that end up coming. One is it's really fun to share it with people. It's really thrilling. I find revealing beautiful, wonderful facts about life and about learning and about growth by studying martial arts. And I love sharing it. And two, I do it because that's how I make a living, so that I can continue to do it. Right? I do love putting on a suit and standing on TV and saying this is how fucking John Jones knocked out Daniel Cormier, or smashed Daniel Cormier in the head with a kick. I love doing that. It is fun, but it's also how I get paid to pay my bills, because no matter how much the world changes, we'll probably still have to pay for food. So I can pay for food and all my living, so I can keep studying martial arts. So again, I'm not studying martial arts to do it on TV. I'm doing it on TV so I can keep studying martial arts. But I do love sharing it. It's been a real fucking pleasure to hang out with you guys. So many nice comments, so many encouraging things. Yeah. If you follow me on Instagram, the last few weeks has been pretty amazing. Nominated with those 4 fucking legit people. The punk rock outlier with those 4. That's amazing. And then 100,000 followers on Instagram that watch my 1-minute breakdowns. I do at least 1 a day, sometimes 2 and 3. DAZN's been amazing. TSN's been amazing. My commentary jobs I love. Make sure you check out on August 2nd the World Lightweight Championships, or World Lightweight Championships from Myanmar. I'm going to be over there working with Sean Wheelock. We're going to work together. It's going to be really fun. And I don't know what else to say other than I'm really thankful. It's been a wild 2 years, and I'm going to go down and really enjoy it. And I'll make sure to Jorge interview, please. Okay, I'll send Jorge a message right now. Try to get him on Wednesday. But yeah, I'm proud of this. I am. I worked really, really hard, and I had a lot of challenges. And each one of those, jobs that we're talking about, you got to earn each one of them. You got to prove that you can do something, and then in most cases, they'll, PFL too. I'm doing something for PFL, and I've been really chatting with them. I really like those people. I really like their show. I want to do more with them. Each one of those, in almost all those cases, I don't talk about this a lot, but sometimes you have to do the first one for free or very close to it, and sometimes even on your own dime, to show that you can deliver, because just doing the job isn't enough anymore. You have to do the job in such a way that people care. And the only way that's going to happen is if you deeply give a shit. And I do. But thank you, all you guys. If you don't follow me on Instagram and Twitter, please do it, because I'm posting something every day at Robin Black MMA. And if you hung here till the end, these are at shoprobinblack.com. Means a lot to me. Thanks for everything. You guys, a couple minutes, anyone got some questions? Very, very nice comments from people. Let's see if there's a question or two. You should win it based on your breakdown of McGregor versus Mayweather. Yes, that was the best. I share that clip sometimes, Robin and DAZN. I love working for DAZN. I share that clip sometimes when I was like, he's going to beat him. He's going to beat him. Because that was one of the, you never know what's going to be the piece of content that will somehow connect to people. That thing probably doubled my followers over the next couple of months. Just because you say or do something crazy. I mean, fucking half. That's what we were talking about with Chael and stuff. Creating debate, discussion. That's part of the job. I'm trying to get away from that. There would be many, and there have been many people saying, no, provoke some of these things, say some of these, get involved with that kind of stuff. One, it's inauthentic to me now, but two, I also believe that if everyone's saying this is how you got to do it, so some people use the term best practices in business. This is best practices. What that means is everybody's doing this, or everyone's thinking they should do it. Everyone's starting to do it. If that's the case, something else will be scarce, and scarcity has value. Scarcity always has value. Robin Black, do you think Daniel Cormier ducked Ryan Bader? No, I don't. I think that ship has sailed though, so it'd be nice. Dude, throw your Insta and Twitter stuff on here, even a weekly video containing it all. I'd love to. If there's somebody out there that wants to just pull 10 Instagram videos, the 10 best 1-minute breakdowns, and combine them, are you still doing MMA training? I train martial arts almost every day. If is bare knuckle actually boxing? Okay, I don't know about the American one. I haven't looked deeply into it, but at BKB_official, I commentate that. I've done the last 4 or 5 shows. It's got a YouTube channel here at BKB_official. You can see all of it. It's traditional bare knuckle boxing. Man, I was just, if anybody wants to make, the 10 best 1-minute breakdowns in groupings, 10 best Bellator 1-minute breakdowns, 10 best animal 1-minute breakdowns, and make me 4 or 5, send me a message on Twitter to follow you, and then DM me. I don't have time to do that right now. I'd love to do it, but time is the biggest challenge. So if there's anybody who wants to just on their own pull those down, combine them, and give them to me, I'll promote whatever you got. Otherwise, hopefully I'll get to it in a few months. As things continue to get busy, a staff will be something I'll have to get eventually. But, I'm not ready. I don't have a budget to do that yet. But if there's people that want to do stuff, as I just said, I do a lot of commentary jobs. The first one's for free to show I can do it. And that's how I've got a lot of my jobs. Do over-deliver, where people are like, I can't believe this fucking guy who's been doing this for 15 years, done 600 shows, will do this for free just to prove people that he can help. I've done it. And I'll continue to do it. And I believe in it. Anyways, if anybody wants to be helpful and supportive, I certainly won't forget it when it comes time to build a staff. Thank you all very much. And how's John Ramdeen still in touch? I commentate TKO with John Ramdeen, 5 or 6 a year, biggest show in Canadian fighting history. And we love it. And I see him and I miss him every time until I see him next time. It's going to be 1 hour on the nose. I'm Robin Black, and this is your 60-minute breakdown. Thanks for hanging with me. I miss you guys. I miss doing these. As I said, we're going to build out the studio, and we will relaunch this YouTube channel. Thank you for being my first 27,000 subscribers. It's going to get bigger, and it's going to get better, and I'll never forget you. I'm trying to end on exactly one hour. Blackout.